Roll camera. Mics up. And action. Live from Australia, streaming around the world. The most cinematic podcast of your week awaits. This is Bottomless Popcorn with your host, Morgan Brown.
Hey everyone, I'm Morgan. This is another episode of Bottomless Popcorn. Today on the show we have a friend of mine named Angela Egan. She's a friend from Disney on Ice, and she is currently over in the UK performing as one of the professionals on the Dancing on Ice television TV show. So she's taking a bit of time out of her very busy schedule while she's filming that one to sit down and talk with us about her 4 favourite films. So let's get straight into it and speak to Angela.
Hey, I'm Angela, and the last movie I saw was a rewatch of Braveheart, which was actually playing on my parents' television over Christmas.
Very good.
And it's been a while, but I still love it.
Yeah. You don't need to watch that one with subtitles either, because you can understand the accent too, I'm sure.
The terrible accent that Mel Gibson has.
Of
A very
course.
bad Scottish accent, but
Yeah.
no, I don't know. It's just one of those movies for me that it's always shown on television in Scotland. I wonder why. But whenever it's on, I just sit down for a second and I watch it, and then I just continue watching it for the whole, 2.5 hours or however long it's on for.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you join it from. You'll end up watching it from wherever you are to the very end.
Yeah, but yes,
Yeah.
I get the same joy out of it every single time.
We were just talking before we started, but we worked out that you and I didn't think we had met before, but now I think we have, as we worked on the same Disney on Ice show together a few years ago,
Apparently we
but didn't meet one another, or don't remember meeting one another if we did. So yeah.
Isn't it weird though? The world that we live in is like such a small world, but so vast as well, because that's crazy. I've actually probably met you before, because we run it in the same crowds. Like, you're Nako's friend, I'm Nako's friend. So how we've never met, I have no idea.
Exactly. And Nako's the world's friend. Everyone knows Nako now too.
That's true. If you don't know Nako,
I think he's going to soon be eclipsed by our hero, though, Dave McCarthy. So that'll be interesting if that continues to propel the direction it's going with Seago behind
Have you joined his Facebook group yet?
I definitely have. We're going to go to the movies today, and we're going to watch your number one favorite movie, but there's going to be some trailers for some of your other favorite films that you've picked playing before it. But obviously, if we're going to the movies, we're going to make a little pit stop at the candy bar. So what snacks and stuff are you going to pick up on the way through?
Oh man, I'm quite a classical chick. Like, I'm a solid like popcorn and soda kind of person.
Yeah.
But have you been to Mexico before?
I have not.
I do a lot of skating shows in Mexico, and they have this cinema called Cinepolis and Cinemex, one of the two, I'm not sure, but they have a VIP section.
Right.
And you basically, it's like a different cinema hall altogether, and you don't have a kiosk, you have a little button on your side of your chair, and then you have a waiter come and take your order, and the menu is so vast. You can have anything from chicken wings to whiskey. It's fantastic. So when I'm in Mexico, I ditch the popcorn and the soda, and I'm all about the sushi and the gin and tonic and the chicken wings and everything else. But if I'm back home in the UK or anywhere else, large popcorn. Butter, if I'm in America, we don't seem to have butter popcorn anymore in the UK, which sucks. Yeah. But yeah.
I know there's always a thing with Europeans about sweet or salty popcorn. So where do you fall in that category?
I'm kind of on the fence, because I don't not like salted popcorn, but I prefer it with butter. So only have that if I get butter with it.
Yeah,
but if I'm just having normal popcorn, it is sweet. But I have heard that's like sacrilegious to some people. So
I was shocked when I was on tour and found out that sweet popcorn was a thing. I was like, that
really?
it's all salty.
Is it not
and stuff at the cinemas over here. Yeah, it's like salty. You can buy like flavored ones, like pre-popped and stuff on the shelf, but movies over here, it's pretty much salty or not.
And then you get the weirdos over here who get the mixed popcorn, like the sweet and salty together. It's like you don't want to have that kind of fear in your life, what you're going to have in your mouth.
How do you so over here, like Maltesers and stuff, people will mix Maltesers into the popcorn. How do you feel about that?
No,
Yeah.
popcorn's popcorn. Leave it alone. It's like an original movie. Don't redo it. Just make it perfect.
Yeah, cool. I agree.
Love Maltesers, not in popcorn.
Yeah, exactly right. When you go to when you go to the movies, do you like what kind of cinema do you seek out? Do you go for the biggest screen you can see, or are you going for like one with recliner seats, or like you were just talking about in Mexico, like the one where you get a waiter who'll bring the food and drinks into you while you're watching the film? If you have the option, which one do you pick?
Honestly, in the past, I would always go for like what had the best quality of movie, like an IMAX cinema or all that stuff. But
Yeah.
More and more now, cinemas do have these big recliners, and they're just sheer comfort. So I feel now that when I go to cinema and I don't get that experience, I'm a little bit like,
Yeah.
that wasn't so wonderful.
Yeah.
No matter how good the movie is, no matter how good the showing is,
Yeah.
But so maybe I'm a movie snob or a cinema seat snob, I should say, and I just go for the luxury rather than the quality of the movie.
Do you remember the first movie that you ever saw at the movies?
It had to be like a Disney movie, I think. Oh, I remember my mum taking me to see The Little Mermaid when it was first released way back like 1,000 years ago. And I cried my eyes out at the end.
Yeah.
Like a bubbling mess. And she was so confused to why this happy ending had happened and her 6-year-old daughter was a slobbering mess.
Yeah.
And I remember being so upset that Ariel was never going to see her daddy ever again.
Yeah.
So my mom wouldn't let me see the movie after that for a very long time because it caused me such distress. But I remember going to the cinema and seeing it and just being like emotionally wrecked by that movie.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. And like a few people I've done this with from Disney have done Disney films as like what they think, or like have listed that as one of their 4 or one of their early like movie memories and stuff. So I don't know. Have you ever done the mermaid role in the shows as well?
I have.
So was that a bit brought back all the emotions and all the memory there when you were doing it?
Psychological trauma.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I'll just skate backstage and I'll see my dad again then, so it'll be fine.
I mean, no, to be fair, I do get like nervous doing that role, which was probably one of the few ones that I do get nervous doing these days. But maybe that's some like untapped background brain problems that I've got that's been affected by this movie all those years ago.
Perhaps, yeah. That's really cool.
Can I pay you therapy sessions now as well?
Yeah, of course. I need to monetize this somehow, so that might be it now, I think.
There you go.
What's a movie that you remember more for the experience of seeing it? You remember that more than the actual film?
Ooh, one of 2. I remember getting taken to see. Oh, as a young person or anytime?
Anytime, yeah.
Anytime. Oh, maybe Jurassic Park, the first one.
Yeah.
Because I remember being a little bit too young to see it and having this conversation with my parents that I'd be okay, I can handle it. I can take it all in. I wouldn't be traumatized by it. I won't be scared. And it was a friend's birthday party and we had the whole day together. It was like, I think we were like 12 years old maybe.
Yeah.
And then went to see Jurassic Park afterwards. And I remember just thinking that it was a really cool day.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing. And I thought, I shouldn't be watching this movie, but I am. And it's fine and I can handle it. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about the other one? What do you think was the other one you were thinking
of? Maybe The Dark Knight. Because when The Dark Knight came out in Scotland, I don't know if we didn't have IMAX cinemas like in the actual cinema complexes as of yet. The screens weren't there. But we have this like a science centre in Scotland, and they had the first IMAX cinema screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being a very good girlfriend at the time to whoever I was dating at that point, and getting tickets to Dark Knight to see in IMAX. And I remember just being absolutely blown away by it. My first IMAX experience, and it was insane.
Cool is it, hey?
That opening scene when it's over the city, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
But what's got me now is, I don't know, I've been to IMAX a few times after that, and it's never had the same experience, never had the same kind of wow factor. And I'm wondering now if we're like become accustomed to that, if we're getting used to like bigger and better, and we're no longer impressed by it.
Yeah.
As human beings, right? That's what we do.
A lot of
get
them seem to get released in IMAX, but they don't ever entirely take up the full screen either, I've found.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Which is kind of disappointing. Like the Spider-Man's never took up the entire, it fit the width of it, but it never quite filled it top to bottom, which was a bit disappointing. But I know the Batman one did. All the Christopher Nolan ones do, if you see them, like Dunkirk.
He was like the first guy to use the IMAX cameras, right? Is that right? Is that trivia? I don't know if so
Batman and
you're going home.
Yeah, it was they were always really cool. I wish I had seen Tenet, the new one he just did. I think that would have been really cool to see.
I'm still trying to figure that movie out, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it took me a minute.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I thought that was really. What about movies based on like books and novels, or like any sort of source material, even if it's like comic books and stuff like that? Do you take notice of those kind of things? Are you the kind of person who'll read the book before or after you see the film?
Yeah, I see you guys going to hate me for this. I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle not to put it in my top 4, to be honest. He kind of actually talked me out of it, so give him a word. I read The Hobbit really early on. I read it in like elementary school, primary school, we call it in the UK, and I loved it. And then when the movies came out, I just like, it was just like a dream come true. I got a tattoo. I got my name in Elvish tattooed on me, really commemorate it. So
yeah.
But Marvel movies and comic book movies, like I honestly have never picked up a Marvel comic in my entire life ever. Yeah. But I still love the movies, and I probably, I mean, I do read background information. I do read background stories, so I feel like I can keep up with you guys who know what you're talking about. But I've never really kind of like read the source material.
Yeah, sure.
Ever. So, but I still enjoy it equally. However, I remember going to see Watchmen a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy the movie at all.
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, listen, you've got to read the graphic novel. You've got to check it out. You won't get it otherwise. And I tried to go through it and I just couldn't. Wasn't my jam.
Yeah.
Couldn't get through it.
That was another one too. I think I only saw it because it was like when it came out, it was rated like an exclusion rating. Like you had to be a certain age or older to see it.
Oh yeah.
And I remember like being the age you were allowed to see it and going to see it and then being like, oh, whatever. That was ordinary.
I think I might have fallen asleep halfway through it, honestly. Like it's
pretty long too. Like I think it's over 2.5 hours ish, I think.
It was people who are fans of the graphic novel, or was it called comic books, or was it a novel? I'm not sure.
I think
they loved it, I guess, because it was so true to the story and it didn't deviate too much. But it just shows you that you have to change things and to be on the screen. You know, it doesn't always work.
All right, I'll move on. Sorry. So it's time for your first movie trailer, and it is for the movie I, Daniel Blake. So tell us about this one. How come you like this one so much, and why does this one appear in your top 4 list?
So this one is a movie that completely took me by surprise. I'm a big fan of the director, Ken Loach. He kind of came into my life, not my life, but my movie life, when I was in maybe high school. And so where I live in Scotland is near Glasgow, and it's this really cute little city right by the sea, and it's basically where the river meets the sea. So we get a lot of cargo ships coming in and whatever. So even though it's really idyllic and pretty, we also have a lot of crime and drugs and things like that coming into our city. So we have a lot of kind of like gangster run things and whatnot. So this director came to my city and he actually wanted to make a movie about my town and the kind of like the drug culture and young people growing up in my town and whatnot. And he picked a boy from my school to be the main character, who's now won awards in Cannes. He's been plenty of movies now, but he started off as a young non-acting actor, and he ended up getting really big. So since then, that movie was called Sweet 16, and the actor was a guy called Martin Compston. And because of that, I followed this guy, this Ken Loach, and I loved his movies. He did a couple of big ones, did The Wind That Shook the Barley, He did
That's
a
the
movie
one
called
I've heard of. When you told me his name, I was like, I feel like I've heard it before, and that was the film that I had heard it associated
I think
with.
that's one of his biggest kind of mainstream movies. He does a lot of indie movies. He's actually won. It's an award in Cannes called the Palme d'Or, which I think means like golden palm tree, and it's like the biggest award you can get in Cannes, and he's won it twice, which is really cool. But this
Once
movie,
for this film too, right?
Yeah, he won it for this film. But I watched this movie on a plane, and it was just honestly a random, like, I'm having food at this point in time, I'm just going to put something on in the background, something a little easy, whatnot. And I was an emotional wreck the entire time, both happy and sad, because Ken Loach has a way of devastating his viewers.
Yeah.
The movie is it's based in Newcastle, and it's based on a kind of middle-aged working man, working class, and for whatever reason, he can no longer do his job as a carpenter. And it's based around the kind of the UK benefit system and how it failed this man because he was not of an age where he could use like computers and internet and websites and whatever, so he struggled to get through. And it's just really about how he was cheated and failed by the system, and it ultimately ended in tragedy because of it. But along the way, it's comedy gold. It's heartbreaking. It's, it touches on subjects that a lot of filmmakers wouldn't really touch on. Yeah, and it's just unbelievable. And I always go back to it. So it's just one of those movies that I'm thinking, all right, what am I feeling like watching? Okay,
put that
let's
one
do it
on.
again. So it had to go in my top 4.
Yeah, nice. I think it's like for a film to like be that well remembered by someone, and especially now that I just heard you say that your first viewing was of an airplane too, like it has some serious substance if it managed to like leave that good of an impression on you. Because I often find watching a movie on a plane is like probably the worst place you could experience.
Absolutely, you can barely even hear it, never mind anything else.
So I guess that's like a testament to the movie to show like how good its substance and its character and its story is to be that well remembered and thought of by you. So that's awesome. I was saying I hadn't seen this one either, but I definitely want to check it out, and now especially more after hearing you talk about it as well, because that sounds really, really good. Yeah.
It's definitely one of those movies, like it wasn't really mainstream at all, but anybody who has seen it is like, damn, have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Like it's something special. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's just typical Ken Loach. It's just the way he is. He just likes to devastate everybody who watches his movies.
Yeah.
In the best way.
I was kind of reading a little bit of the trivia on the film too, just before we started talking and stuff as well. And it was talking about that and it's like in the credits, it has like, it offers thanks to the people that work in those services where they kind of look after like people with medical conditions or injuries, and like the financial assistance that those people give. Because it talks about like in making the film, they reached out to a lot of these people who work in these facilities whose job doesn't allow them to like actually give out this information, but they did, and so they can't be named and thanks. So it's like kind of like an anonymous thank you to all these people that help them explain how this actually happened when they kind of couldn't get official answers off the actual government services and the government and stuff as well. So it's like kind of an anonymous thank you to, which I thought was kind of nice and cool.
Anonymous
kind of a shame that they can't be like, yeah. But yeah, no, this is definitely one I think I'm gonna have to check out now, because I haven't.
He's got a bunch of movies that are just outstanding. He's actually watch Sweet 16 as well if you get a chance. It's a little bit older. It was out maybe in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But same. He always touches on kind of working class poverty and just the struggles, and he does it in a really dark comedy way. It's never too dark and depressing. Yeah. So it's got ups and downs, but the movies are always so good. And Angel Share, I'll watch that one. That's a good one.
Okay, nice. I'll move on. I'll go to a couple more questions for you. What movie do you think has the best soundtrack, and what movie do you think has the best original score?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Soundtrack. You've got to be talking like one of the Guy Ritchie movies, like Snatch
Yeah.
or something like that. Like
Yeah.
they've all got really good soundtracks. Those are the movies that I would actually go buy like an album of.
Yeah.
For sure. There was a really good movie out a couple of years ago, actually, and it was, I can't remember the name of it now. It's about a little girl who's in a car crash and she's in a coma, and it's her life around her.
If I Stay.
If I Stay, yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack to that, not the score, the soundtrack is actually all Smashing Pumpkin songs, but like reimagined.
Like covers and
covers.
Cool.
So all of them, so the slow ones and fast ones and acoustic ones, but it's all Smashing Pumpkins, and that's a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, nice.
As for scores, man, I'm a figure skater. I grew up listening to like movie scores for like skating stuff.
And if you've ever been on a show with Aaron Brotherhood, you'll know that he loves to play those in between presets as well.
He does love a Hans Zimmer, didn't he?
He does. It was good. It was the best. We used to send each other playlists every day and go, I think this one between show 2 and 3 tomorrow would be good.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I cannot wait to join you guys on tour, man. It's going to be like a party with all like those like musical scores in between.
Yeah. It was the best. It was really good.
I don't know if I can answer that, honestly. Anything Hans Zimmer, anything James Horner, John Williams, like legend. Star Wars is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, Armageddon's got a good score. That's pretty rocky.
Naka, I think, said that too, actually, when he did his.
That's got a really good score because they kind of incorporated, what's Steve Taylor's band called?
Aerosmith,
thank you. They kind of incorporated like a lot of the guitar riffs and whatever into it, so that was quite cool. Yeah. But I don't know. Can I just pass and say anything by Hans Zimmer?
Yes, sure. That's really good. It's a good answer. I was lucky. His tour came to Australia in 2019, so I went and saw the Hans Zimmer live show. So that was unreal, seeing a packed arena where the show plays when we're in Australia too.
Yeah.
Full, and just like the orchestra playing like Pirates of the Caribbean and Gladiator and all the Christopher Nolan stuff. And it was.
Did they still do that? Is he still on tour? Well, obviously not now, but was he still on?
Yeah, that was in 2019 was when I saw that. I think that was earlier in the year too, but it was really cool. It was awesome.
All right.
Add that if he comes back your way. What is the best looking film? So you probably take that in 2 ways, like how it's shot or like everything within it, like the production. All right.
So if you're talking about set and things like that, it's got to be Lord of the Rings. That's just spectacular.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I don't think there's any other movie that has that kind of scenery, really, apart from Braveheart.
Yes.
Just to put that in there.
Locations, yes.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Marie Antoinette?
I have seen clips of it, but I haven't seen the whole movie.
So basically, the aesthetic of the movie is the entire thing is to look like a cream cake. That's the only way to explain it. So everything is just stunning, absolutely stunning. The movie itself has got a lot to be desired. Like it's okay, not wonderful, but visually, that's when like my inner girl who likes pretty things has come out, and it's gorgeous, just stunning to watch it.
Yeah. What's the funniest movie that you think you've ever seen?
I'm a hard one to please with comedy. I really am. Okay. I remember going to the cinema to see Rat Race. Do you remember that movie?
I do remember this one. Yeah.
And I was belly laughing the whole way through it. And it's unlike me because I hate that kind of slapstick comedy humor. Yeah. It's not my jam at all. But something about that movie was just so hysterical. Yeah. I've only seen it once. So I think if I go back and watch it again, I'll be like, what the hell was I laughing at? But I remember just dying the whole way through it.
Yeah. I think he's not even in it that much, but that has Rowan Atkinson in it. And I think
he's a legend.
He does, he's an
absolute
one I haven't seen in ages either, so I might have to watch that one too.
Have you seen Blackadder?
Some of it, not all.
Oh, it's just like perfect, honestly, perfect comedy.
Yeah, I really like obviously the Johnny English films and the Mr. Bean Holiday and stuff like that. I think he's really good. Yeah, be all over it. What about the opposite end of the spectrum? What's the saddest film you think you've ever seen? Okay,
so I'm a bit of a weirdo. It takes a lot for me to cry a movie. Well, I did say that I cried at Little Mermaid when I was 6, but let's forget about that.
Yeah.
But generally my go-to is happy tears. So I cry happy things, like I'm emotionally happy rather than, I mean, it's awful to say this, but somebody could be dead, buried and gone in a movie and I don't care. But if somebody's elated, I am like crying my eyes out. But I do remember the Disney movie Up.
Wow.
The opening scene of that movie.
Yeah.
That was probably the only one that's like sad.
Yes.
That I was just a blubbering mess the whole way through, like that kind of embarrassed wiping your cheeks in the movie theater.
Yeah,
that one got me. It's a sad
That's
one.
a good one. I think I really rate Up and Coco. I think is like my favorite like Pixar one.
I haven't seen Coco yet.
It's pretty good. And they just put another one out actually, or like a year ago. Soul came out about a year ago.
Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah, that was really cool too, and that has really good music through it because it's about like a jazz musician. So I think that one's really cool.
I'm a really bad Disney on Ice skater. I don't really watch a lot of Disney movies.
Yeah.
So I dragging my niece to them. So
yes. What about another corner of that now? What's the scariest movie you think you've ever seen?
And
I actually realized we've got one of your movies coming up. So if that's the answer, we can hold on to it until we do that one.
No, because I might find that scary. But one of the ones I was going to put in my top 4 is The Conjuring.
Yeah.
And I can watch that every day, all day, and I still get jump scares from that movie, which is great. Perfect horror movie. Apart from that, I remember seeing Paranormal Activity and being freaked by that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I was watching it with somebody who fell asleep while watching it and thinking, you're an
At
asshole.
the movies or at home?
No, it was at home. I was like, you've left me to watch this terrifying thing by myself. You will wake up. That affected me a little bit. But I love a horror movie. I love anything that gives you that kind of like adrenaline rush. So I'm pretty numb when it comes to the fear factor.
I don't do too well with them at all. I on that 2019 tour, Narco and Aaron and I went to the movies a lot. And Narco always wanted to go see the horror films. And I was always like, oh, no, I think I might do anything else that night. That's fine. And he took me to one of them. And I was like, dry reaching it every time it got scary. Like,
really?
And I was proper scared. And I was like nearly throwing up. And he was just laughing like it was a dead set comedy. Like I was...
Because he just has his cackle, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I feel like he does that as like a kind of a deflection
mechanism. Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I think too.
Oh, you have to get on it. Watch The Conjuring. Watch all The Conjurings.
He put that as one of his movies, and someone else did it shortly before or after him too. So it's on my list. And I just put in. We were just in a lockdown, and I just put in a projector and like 130-inch screen at home. So
you can't escape from it.
Yeah, and we put in like Atmos speakers and stuff in the roof of the house too. So I feel like I might come around to watching it because that one's come up a fair bit now. I do think I should see it. I've seen Paranormal Activity. Very scary. I saw it at the movies too, and I just wished I was the kid the whole time that walked in with a torch and walked out after a minute. That's all I needed to see. I just wish that was me the whole time. I'm out of here. Bye. What is a movie that you can't believe you still haven't seen?
The Godfather. 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, same. I haven't seen those either.
You haven't seen it either.
Much like the rest of the classics.
We can be friends. The sad was that haven't seen The Godfather. We can be in that.
Yeah. I was going to jump on to your next movie trailer now, and this is for Get Out. Tell us about this one.
It's just like the best movie. It's just so perfect in every sense of the manner. Jordan Peele, I think it was his first directorial, and he nailed it on the absolute head. Like, he took a horror genre and he had black comedy in there, and he had some hard-hitting truths in there, and he had some twists and turns, and he had action, and it was just phenomenal the whole way through it. And I always feel like I've seen that movie probably on average about 1,000 times now, and I see something new every time. Yeah. Every single time. He's got so many little like tidbits the whole way through it that I'm just like, this guy's a genius, and the movie's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so clever. I wish like I would have, if I was to ever make something, I wish I would have enough forethought to like put in all those little clues and Easter eggs along the way. But I just don't think I'd be clever enough to have thought of it, you know.
But you wonder how long he was working on that for. It's obviously his
Exactly.
like baby, right? So he's absolutely nailed it. But
I think, sorry, go on. Okay.
I just think like the fact that the main characters in the movie, like, because the movie is obviously one of the major themes is racism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he could have easily have put the house somewhere in the South in America, and where people are like that normally, but he made it in like upstate New York, where it's very liberal. He didn't make anything about the movie obvious.
Yes.
Which I thought was so cool. So cool.
Yeah. It has one of like the best scenes of like tension I think I've ever seen in a movie. And it's where you're pretty clued on to, you think you know what's going on. And it's when he's trying to leave the house and the tension hasn't quite broken yet. Like the explanation hasn't been made entirely clear, although you're pretty sure you know what it is. And it's when he's trying to leave the house and Rose is like searching frantically through her own handbag for the car keys that they can't find. And it's just becoming more and more obvious, I think, to the audience what's kind of afoot and what's being withheld still at the minute, and just how long they sustain that like tension for, and how long they kind of string the audience on a bit longer than I think you otherwise ordinarily would. And then obviously break the tension with her reveal of these keys. No, I can't give them to you. It's just such a get out. Just, like
they pulled you in. They just pulled you in so well. But I don't know if it's a generational thing, because I showed that movie to my mum and dad recently, actually. Like last summer, I think it was, and they had visitors in the house and they were watching a movie with visitors, and I put that movie on for them, and they did not enjoy it one bit.
No.
They were like, it was weird. What the hell? Like, they were so confused. They were just like, they understood the concept of it, but they didn't understand what made it so good. So I was like, I wonder if it's like a generational thing.
Yeah.
Because anybody of our generation that's seen it is just like, this movie's sick. You have to watch it. But I wonder if it's just like tuned in for us and our viewing pleasure, you know?
Yeah, that's wild, I guess, too. I don't think I've ever, I don't know if my parents had seen it. But I that was one of the ones too I kind of remember seeing pretty early in its like theatrical release with a decent crowd. And it kind of like when you see these big Marvel ones, there's Australia also at the movies is kind of quite subdued and relaxed with its theater reactions. So those big Marvel event ones, when things happen and they kind of get pretty big cheers, which is kind of unusual. But I can remember seeing this one and probably all similarly aged people in the theater, but kind of just hearing people just kind of going, like doing the really awkward like tenses and like just these ones were kind of really quiet reactions, but quiet like intimate reactions to themselves or whoever their immediate group was, not kind of loud projected ones to the entire crowd. And there's that scene, and I think there's one. It's been out for a while, so we can spoil it, I guess. But the end of the film when he gets away, and then a police car kind of turns up, and everyone's immediate reaction in the theater being like, "Oh no, like he's got away!" But now the police are called.
Yeah, he's gonna get right back to it again.
Yeah, and it's just his friend from the.
I recently heard that they have like about 7 or 8 alternate endings to that movie.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen any of them, which is weird. So I'm going to have to check it out and look at them all. And there's so many different variations of how he wanted it to end.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I'll have to give a YouTube search, I think, and see what's
because it was so. I think it was so rare for a movie of that caliber to have a happy ending. Almost
Absolutely.
Like I was expecting the bad movie. I was expecting the bad ending. Expecting the worst. No, it was a nice surprise. I liked it a lot.
Absolutely. No, it was really clever. I'm super glad I saw it at the movies too, because I think I thought it was a horror more than a thriller. And so I probably was a bit hesitant, I'm sure, before I even went in, but kind of one I was super glad I had ended up going to see the way I saw it.
See, I put it off for ages though, because it was recommended to me. So my brother is my movie muse. He's got the best taste in movies, and he had mentioned it to me a couple of years ago. Well, when it first came out. And then I didn't see it at that point. And then it was my ex-boyfriend, sorry, who has notoriously bad taste in movies, like awful taste in movies. And he recommended it to me. So I kind of put off seeing it for quite some time because I was like, if you like it, it's going to be shit, you know? But yeah, no, one of my top 4. Love it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I fully agree. I don't know if it's my top 4. If I expanded my list, it'd definitely be within 10, I think. It's
Morgan,
really
try to whittle it down to 4 is a near on impossible task.
I know, right? I don't think if I got asked to do this myself, would I be able to do it? Yeah, it's quite difficult. Yeah. I'll move on a little bit more. Do you try and watch movies that get like good reviews and are award-winning films, or does that not really mean much to you? You're going to see it because do you think it looks good? Like you're not particularly fussed about its reviews or its award status or anything like that?
I've been both equally surprised by movies that have had bad reviews, and I've been disappointed by movies that have had good reviews. So honestly, it doesn't matter to me. Like I haven't seen Parasite yet, which whenever people tell me how good it is and how shocked they are I haven't seen it, I'm just like, well, I'll get to it when I do get to it.
Yeah.
But I remember when Suicide Squad came out, I didn't see it for a few weeks, and it got slated, absolutely slated, and every single review was just like, this is the worst movie in the world. So I went to it with absolutely no expectations, and I really enjoyed it. It was just such a fun movie, and I thought I'm never listening to reviews ever again because, you know, this is my opinion of it. Maybe because the bar was so low. This is why I enjoyed the movie. But
you'd heard enough about it before that it wasn't great, that you kind of went in not expecting much and came out surprised. Yeah.
Just make your own mind up about things.
Yeah. That one I saw in Auckland, New Zealand, while on a D33. We went to a midnight screening before a load-in, and I'd never been so angry that I missed out on 2 hours worth of sleep before a load-in. I was so disappointed.
Really?
I would have much rather have just slept. I was so furious. I was like, I should have just went the next day. Like
it was just so hyped up though, that movie. It was going to be like the best thing. I mean, the best thing about it. They just had those really good
trailers with those songs and stuff like Queen and whatever put on it. And then I think, I just remember we all walked home in silence, just furious that we had to go to work in like 4 hours. Like,
like it wasn't even worth it.
Yeah, it was no good.
And then they brought out Birds of Prey, which was like even worse. So
yeah, have you seen the new Suicide Squad?
Not yet.
I liked that. That was pretty cool. I thought that was a much better version of it, I guess.
Okay, all right. I need to get back to the cinema soon. I feel like my mind is still very much on the pandemic and we can't go to these places, but we can.
You have to see Spider-Man. You've still not seen it. You were just...
don't even get me started. I've been avoiding the spoilers like bullets, so I have.
Yeah, proper Matrix in it all the way around. You know? What's a movie you've seen and you really loved it, but you've watched it again and realized you've had a change of opinion and it wasn't as good as you first remembered it being?
The original Blade Runner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I told you my brother's like my movie muse. He made me watch this like when I was far too young to watch it, I'm guessing. And I remember just thinking it was the coolest film in the world ever. Just everything about it was sensational. And then I rewatched it when they were doing the remake, just so I kind of like refresh myself and whatever. And I fell asleep and I hated it. And I don't know if it's because CGI and special effects have come on so much that it just was dry and slow and boring. I don't know, but what I thought it was no longer.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Devastated.
Have you seen the newer one, 2049? Have you seen that one? No, just good. So was your rewatch before that one?
Honestly, it was so bad. It was literally, I couldn't get through the old one, so I just gave up hope. Yeah, I will get to it. It's on like my list of Netflix movies to watch one day.
Yeah,
but...
sure. Yeah. No,
did you like it?
It was tough. It was pretty long. It? Yeah. It was, which is a shame because that guy that's made him, Denis Villeneuve, has made like Sicario and Arrival, and he just did Dune as well.
Yeah.
and he's just had this trend of getting longer and longer. And I'm a bit like, oh, rein it in, champ. You're good, but rein it in. Like, just
Exactly. He's going for the artistic vibe, isn't he?
Yeah. What is a movie that surprised you the most? You kind of went in with no expectation, but you came out really glad you've seen it. You were saying Daniel Blake kind of before when you watched that, because you just put it on a plane not expecting much. But is there any others that are like that for you?
Harry Potter.
Oh, really?
I didn't know anything about Harry Potter when the movies came out. I had never read the books. I had nothing about it. And I was still a competitive figure skater when the first movie came out. And I remember I had like a split day of training. So I was training in the morning and then training in the afternoon. And I wasn't driving at the time. I think I was just 16. And my mum would drive me to the rink, bless her heart. So she refused to go home in between these sessions. So we used to have like a little movie date, and we went to go see Harry Potter just because it was out. And I loved it. And then that year for Christmas, I begged for all the books and I devoured them basically in a month. And then it became one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone answering that as like answered that film as the answer though. That's kind of one people have always been like, yep, I knew about it, loved it. That's so cool that you're one that was like not fazed by it and then found it just because. That's awesome.
Yeah. Had never even heard of it actually when it came out. I was like, don't know what hole I was living in, but I was living somewhere.
What's a movie that you've seen, you really liked it, but no need to watch it again? Just seeing it the once was enough.
Avatar.
Ah, yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, great movie. It was fab. I seen it in 3D actually, which was really cool because I remember the forest scene, the trees and the leaves came at you, which was nice.
Yeah.
But no, I'd be happy to never see it ever again.
Yeah, fair enough. Good answer.
Check, done.
Yeah. I'll move on now to your final trailer before we get to your main feature. And this is for D2, The Mighty Ducks. Why do you like this movie?
I'm such a weirdo. This is the movie that got me ice skating.
Yeah.
So basically, I went to see this movie when it came out. I went to the first one when it came out with my brother, and they started a little like roller hockey team together. And then my mom took me and my brother to the ice hockey team because it was opening up at certain times of the year.
Sure.
And I was in the ice hockey team for a little bit, and I was so bad at it that basically the boys just bullied me and elbow checked me into the headers and whatever and whatnot. So my mum very swiftly took me out of the hockey team and got me into figure skating. Yeah, but so that was the first one. But the second one, I remember there was a character called Julie the Cat Gaffney. She was a goalkeeper.
Okay.
And she was just the coolest chick. So I went back for a second and I started doing ice hockey again as a goalkeeper. And I just loved it. And it just basically inspired me to do what I'm doing now. So, and again, it's one of those movies that even though it's set for 12-year-olds, if it's on TV, I'll sit down and I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll stop whatever I'm doing.
I remember like as a kid, Disney Channel would always play these. Like if they had nothing on the weekends, there would just be like a Mighty Ducks marathon of like two or three films, I think there is. And but the only question I was going to ask is, what is it that it's the second film that got you there and not the first?
Well, it was because of that character, because they brought a whole bunch of different characters into it, and they went to was it the Commonwealth Games or the Junior Olympic Games they went to. And I also remember having the biggest crush on one of the boys, Mendoza, his name was.
Yeah.
And I just used to watch it just for him, to be honest. And that was how I got into it even more. But no, it's one of those movies that trumped the first one.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen The Godfather or Godfather Part 2, but I believe the second one's far better than the first one, as is Home Alone 2, as is Mighty Ducks 2. Okay,
very good. That's awesome. So do you have both pair of skates still? Like do you have a hockey pair of skates and a figure skating? Or just a figure skating?
I gave that dream up long ago.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my first job, I was like an ice steward at one of the local ice rinks. And I was going around to public sessions just with the whistle and whatever.
Right.
A lot of pair of hockey skates for that, just to be cool, because all the boys were wearing hockey skates and I had my bright white figure skates on.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go them. I think I fell more than the public members fell, so got rid of them pretty quickly.
Yeah. That's awesome. My main question for you was like about it being the second one, but I actually think that's really cool. You were saying like it was the character of the goalie was the one that like got you into it, which I think is really cool. So that's a great answer. I didn't remember that character when I thought of it, but it actually makes loads of sense. That's really cool.
Julie the Cat Gaffney, she was a cool chick. I remember for my brother, because he still played hockey till a lot later on, and he used to always get like the pads and the helmets and whatever for like birthdays, Christmas, whatever. Yeah. And it was one Christmas, my mom got me a goalkeeper helmet, and it was the Mighty Ducks, the actual emblem. And I still have it because when I was home during the pandemic, I was up at my mom and dad's loft, and I was like sorting out all my old childhood stuff to like move out from. Yeah. And I found the goalie helmet, and I'm like, oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. This one too came out in 1994. So is this one you saw at the movies for the first time, or is this one that you saw like after it had probably been out for some time and just?
I think I saw that at the movies. I must have seen the first one earlier on though, because I didn't start figure skating until like 96, maybe 97.
Yeah.
So I must have seen the first one beforehand and then went to the movies for the second one. And that's when I really wanted to get my hockey skates on and go for it. Man, that's 1,000 years ago, isn't it?
Hasn't it paid off though, Angela? Like Disney on Ice. And now you're doing Dancing on Ice over in the UK on ITV as well. Which is you're just actually preparing to go back and start, or you are back actually, and you're filming that as well, which is
we start filming next week, which is crazy.
Which is awesome, and you're at a studio that has filmed some pretty big movies that you were pretty starstruck by when you found out that they were there, have been there, and one that is currently there. Yeah, I heard you were pretty mind blown when you found that out, which was really cool.
Actually, the security guy of the studio a few days ago, because they're filming Band of Brothers there right now, and it's Spielberg and Tom Hanks is there doing it. And he was saying, because where the studio is, there's nothing around about. It's just like an airfield, basically, and they build a set. But he was saying that Spielberg gets helicoptered in every single day.
Oh, my God.
To the set, because he's staying at the Savoy in London or the Ritz in London, and he gets a helicopter in every day. So of
course he does.
He sees the chopper coming in.
Yeah.
And waves them down. As you do.
Is that the one where they've just filmed Doctor Strange at too?
Oh, I don't know actually.
Yeah, I know that was filming over in the UK the other day, but
oh, I don't know. That might have been in Glasgow. They had a lot of things filming in Glasgow this summer. Indiana Jones was there, Batman was there.
Oh,
it's quite cool.
So in the Angela Louise Egan biopic, who plays Angela Louise Egan?
Okay, there is an actress called Mina Savari.
Yes.
She was the young girl who was in American Beauty, which was way back when with Kevin Spacey. Mm-hmm. And not anymore, but when I was 16, 17 years old, we looked remarkably similar. Okay. To the point my uncle had to walk out of the movie because she was having relations with a very older man and he couldn't see past my face having intercourse on the screen, so he walked out. So I would take
that'll do it. Yep, we'll take that one. Do you have a favourite line or piece of dialogue from a movie that's really stuck with you?
Oh God.
It's pretty broad, I think, that one, right? We can move past that one.
Oh, do you know what? You know the whole Macaulay Culkin scene in Home Alone when he's booking the hotel room.
Yes.
And you have a large pizza and all that stuff. And all of that. Just all of that.
It. Okay. Who is your favourite character from cinema? Any movie ever?
Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, interesting.
He's a little creep. He's awesome.
Yeah. Who is your favourite filmmaker? Like they're making a movie, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to go see it because they made it.
Probably Scorsese.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Knowing what's coming
Like
up.
you can't really go wrong.
Yep. Okay. And what movie do you think has the best ending?
Until the spoilers came out, The Sixth Sense.
Okay. Yeah. It's a really nice
Like,
twist at
the
the
first
end.
time, the first time I seen that movie, I remember just being like, "Damn, all right, that's pretty good."
Yeah.
But once you've seen it, that's it. You know what happens.
Yeah.
So
It's difficult to have
But
that
yeah.
same effect twice. Yeah.
first ending, or Inception actually. Inception with the spinning top.
Yeah. So what
I
do you
like that
think is it? Is he dreaming or is he
I think he's still dreaming because his kids haven't aged at the end,
Oh, okay.
or his kids.
But
I
he's
can't
wearing
remember.
the ring when he spins it. Isn't the ring the totem?
Oh, I
Or
don't
is the
know.
ring not the totem? Because the
You're
spinning
opening up
top
a
is
whole can of worms here.
the spinning top is not his totem. That's his wife's totem. I thought was the
I'm going to have to go back and watch it now. It's been a
yeah
minute. You've messed me up.
yeah
All right, that's tomorrow's
Yeah.
viewing.
Okay, it is now time for your number one favorite movie, and this is The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yay!
Tell us.
Like, how can it not be your favorite movie? It's just the best movie on the planet. And how poor Leo did not get the Oscar for that movie, I will never know.
Yes, you did not.
Never
You got
know.
it for like The Revenant, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, which was honestly, I'm sorry if anybody's a fan, but it was the most boring movie of all time. Like, apart from the bear scene, everything was just like, come on.
Yeah.
Great acting, boring movie. I do think they gave it to him for that out of like a little sympathy of
Yes. Sorry, we couldn't give it to you
worked
last
hard over
year,
the
but you
last
can have
10
it now.
years.
Yeah.
Here you go, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, again, a movie that I didn't go into thinking I would like at all.
Mhm.
Thoroughly entertaining. Scorsese's fantastic. Like, he's the best guy ever. It's just such a funny story, and the fact that 90% of it is bang on accurate is insane.
Yes.
Absolutely insane. And Leo DiCaprio is just, it's his absolute shining moment. He nailed it.
Yeah, it was excellent. Is this one you saw at the movies too for the first time, or how did you remember how you saw this one?
No, I seen it later again. Yeah, I know. I think all my favorite movies I didn't see at the cinema.
Yeah, right. That's
How
crazy.
is that?
I always associate like you see a movie like and you remember it through the movie. So I think you might be one of the first ones that's seen all of their films for the first time, not theatrically, which is crazy.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe I look at it from a deeper meaning. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps.
No, I don't know. Like, it's just, it was a hard one to pick. It was either this or Star Wars, to be honest. And Star Wars is so good, but like, it's just, it was new, it was fresh in a time when movies were just getting repetitive and then sequels are coming out and redos are coming out. Then this one just was so refreshing. So
that's awesome. That's so clever. It's 3 hours long, so it is not a short movie, not one to watch if you're in a time crunch. It's
but you know what? I still don't feel like it feels like 3 hours long.
It moves
genuinely.
Quick, right? Yeah.
Like I think that's when you know it's a good one, because you don't sit thinking, "Oh, look at my watch here."
This is finished. Yeah.
But
no,
3 hours, man, really.
Do you have like a favorite scene, perhaps, from this one? Like, I think mine would probably be the where he almost overdoses on the Quaaludes and he's trying to climb back into his car, crawling down the steps.
That's bloody hilarious.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's so true as well. Like,
I don't doubt it. Yeah,
effects and unbelievable. The scene with his little sidekick when they have the Steve Madden shoe guy coming in as well.
Yes.
For many years after that movie, me and my sister-in-law, whenever we went into a shoe shop, we would ask for Steve Madden in that voice. So that probably sticks a little bit.
Yeah.
Everything. Matthew McConaughey, his scenes are just like oofed. The yacht scene, everything. It's just a perfect movie. It really is.
It's huge. Australia's sweetheart, should I say, Margot Robbie. One of her first major Hollywood movies too, I think.
Massive girl crush on her in this movie.
Yeah.
She is smoking hot, like
big time.
And she wasn't well known at that point, was she? It was one of her first big movies.
she hadn't gone and done things yet, like Suicide Squad and Tarzan, and I think this is definitely.
She's going to get an Oscar soon, that lady. She really is.
Yeah.
Because she was in Neighbours, wasn't she? She was, or was it Home and Away?
She was Neighbours, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she was Neighbours, I think.
No, she was great though. She had was it a Boston accent she had in the movie, or was it a Brooklyn accent? That
she
kind
did,
of like,
yeah. She was.
It was so
there's
good.
interviews where she talks about how every time she does the accent, she just pretends she was like a rich lady getting her nails done or something, and so she talks very like this, and that she's like, that just made the voice happen. It's like, whatever does it for you, I guess. But
method acting to some degree.
Yeah, which is crazy. This, I think, had a couple of Wolf of Wall Street, when its trailers came out, had like a lot of really current songs and stuff on it, I remember too. So I remember there being like Kanye songs and stuff on the trailers. And then I don't think the film has the actual songs in it, but I think the song that kind of sticks out to everyone, well, not even a song, rather just the chant that Matthew McConaughey does, where doing the chest beating, I think, is probably
which apparently was like completely improvised.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think
that's
a very Matthew McConaughey thing to start doing.
What an absolute legend! What an icon!
I agree.
Get him on your show.
I'll try. I'll reach out and ask, but I might be busy. It might not be his problem to get on there.
Oh, I know.
I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
One's a question and then one's a bit of something else. What is like the next movie you're really looking forward to seeing this year?
Spider-Man. I'm behind the curve on this one.
Yes.
Can't wait.
We're recording this in like early January of 2022, which still feels weird to say.
So I'm late, very late.
And then I've now gone and used one of your top 4 films, and I've found a 1-star review online. But I've taken out as many of the references I could so that it still makes sense. And I was going to see if you could try and guess maybe what the film was. So the title they reviewed it was 1 star. Leave the cinema and get a refund. This film was lacking in every way. The story was thin and recycled on cheesy explanations and setups of trying to condense a slightly dark narrative. The dialogue was pretty sparse and very dull. I didn't hear a single laugh the entire movie. Nearly gave it away. Also, the acting, the story, and the script was just plain awful. This is basically, no, that line, I'll give it away. I can't say that one, sorry. What movie do you think that person is describing?
Only by the fact that you referenced dark, I'm going to say Get Out.
Correct. Nailed it.
Am I right?
Yeah, it was.
Man, this person has no taste in movies whatsoever. You know what?
None.
Maybe it was my mom and dad who did that review.
Yeah, sounds like it. Maybe it was. Maybe we'll have to send a strongly worded letter to Mr. and Mrs. Egan and say, hey, it's actually not that bad, all right?
Oh, God. I mean, like, each to their own. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Avatar, whatever, but get some better taste in movies.
Yeah, each to their own, but they are wrong. Yeah, exactly. No, that's it. Thank you so much, Angela, for doing this. I really appreciate you coming on and
thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
It was really good. You're about to be on television for those in the UK on ITV. We're doing some dancing on ice.
Sure
for the next couple of months, I think, and then who knows, maybe back on Disney on Ice. So if people disagree with your taste in movies or they want to catch up, where can they find you? On Instagram,
I'm
right?
on Instagram. I am under the Angela Egan. So come on, give me your movie banter, not your music banter.
Yes.
Bring it on.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Bottomless Popcorn. For bonus content, news, and upcoming guests, follow us on Instagram at Bottomless Popcorn Pod. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you'd like to contact the show, you can email us at bottomlesspopcornpod@gmail.com. And be sure to leave a review of your own favorite film wherever you listen to podcasts.